Chosen ones, a secret in your family is about to come into the light, and you need to be prepared for what that light will reveal. Something hidden inside your own house, your own bloodline, your own story, has been moving toward the surface for a long time, and you have felt it in your chest before you could name it with your mouth. You have sat at tables where everyone was speaking and no one was saying the truth. You have felt the weight of a silence that did not belong to you, a silence older than your own memory, pressing against your ribs like a second heartbeat. This message is for the one who senses that God is not exposing your family to shame it, but to heal it. And that distinction changes everything. If you have been feeling that something in your family story is about to shift, about to be spoken, about to be seen clearly for the first time, stay with this word until the end. If you have felt that heaviness without knowing how to name the season you are living, the 7 Principles of C.S. Lewis for the Chosen was written to help you identify exactly what this kind of moment means and why it feels so significant in your spirit. It will help you recognize whether you are standing in a season of revelation, preparation, or closure, so you can stop guessing and start understanding. To access the ebook, go now to the top of the comments and click the link in the pinned comment. And as you do, come back to this truth, because what is coming to light in your family is not arriving to destroy you. It is arriving to free you. Your body has been carrying this secret longer than your mind has been willing to admit it. You feel it when you lie down at night, and your shoulders refuse to soften against the mattress. You feel it when the phone rings, and a certain name appears on the screen, and your breath goes shallow before you even answer. You feel it in the kitchen, standing over a cup of coffee that has gone cold because you were staring at nothing, remembering a conversation that ended years ago but never really finished. There is a tiredness that sleep does not touch, a fatigue that lives behind the eyes, in the jaw, in the space between your shoulder blades where tension has made its home. You have been strong for so long that strength has become a costume you wear instead of a truth you live. And underneath the costume, your spirit has been whispering the same quiet sentence over and over. Something is not finished here. That whisper is not your imagination. It is recognition. Here is what this message can responsibly offer you, and I want to be honest about it from the beginning. This word will not tell you the exact day your family member will apologize, and it will not promise that every relationship will be restored by a certain date. What it will do is help you recognize what God may be doing when hidden things begin to surface in a family. It will help you understand why you, of all the people in your bloodline, are the one who senses it first, who carries it heaviest, who cannot pretend the way others pretend. It will show you the difference between exposure that humiliates and revelation that heals. It will give you a framework for standing steady when the truth finally speaks, so that you respond with wisdom instead of reacting from old wounds. And it will remind you that being chosen has never been about being better than the people around you. It has always been about being willing to see what others are afraid to see and to carry what others are afraid to carry, not as a burden of pride, but as an assignment of love. Picture this scene, because I believe it belongs to you. You are standing in a hallway inside your family's home, or maybe inside the home you grew up in, and there is a door that has been closed for a very long time. Behind that door is a conversation nobody had. A truth nobody spoke, a wound everybody stepped around like furniture they had memorized in the dark. You know the door is there. You have always known, and lately you have noticed light beginning to seep through the gap at the bottom of that door, thin and steady, like dawn arriving through a curtain. Your hand has been hovering near the handle for months, maybe years. You are not afraid of what is behind the door as much as you are afraid of what changes after you open it. That is where you are standing right now, chosen one, in the hallway of your family's hidden history, and the light is already coming through. You notice things your family has trained itself not to notice, and that sensitivity is not weakness, it is calling. When everyone laughs at the dinner table, you hear the one laugh that sounds hollow. When everyone says everything is fine, you feel the word fine like a stone in your mouth. You have spent years wondering why you cannot simply let things go the way others seem to, why you carry questions nobody else is asking, why certain silences feel louder to you than any argument. The hardest part of this season may not be the waiting itself, but not knowing what the waiting means, not knowing whether you are being prepared, redirected, or asked to close a cycle that has been open for generations. The 7 Principles of C.S. Lewis for the Chosen was created to help you distinguish between waiting, preparation, closure, redirection, and new beginnings, so you can recognize the signs, organize your prayers, and respond with clarity instead of confusion. Many readers who arrived feeling confused or tired of waiting said the material helped them understand their season more clearly, organize their prayers, and stop interpreting every silence as abandonment. To access the ebook, go now to the top of the comments and click the link in the pinned comment, and understand this as you continue listening. The reason you see what others do not see is not because you are broken. It is because you have been positioned. The first thing that will try to steal this moment from you is distraction. The enemy of your discernment is not always a dramatic attack. Sometimes it is a phone that keeps lighting up. Sometimes it is a sudden urgency about things that do not matter, a busy schedule that fills every quiet space where God might speak, a low-grade anxiety that keeps you moving just fast enough to avoid feeling what you need to feel. You have noticed this pattern, have you not? Every time you get close to a moment of real clarity about your family, about the secret, about the thing that needs to be said, something trivial suddenly becomes urgent. The laundry cannot wait, the email must be answered, the show must be watched, and the moment passes and the door stays closed, and the light keeps seeping through the gap, patient and relentless. Distraction is not random in your life right now. It is strategic. It knows that if you ever sit still long enough to hear what God is saying about your family, everything will begin to change. Think about Joseph, not the Joseph of the coat, but the Joseph of the prison. He sat in a cell in Egypt, forgotten by the cupbearer, betrayed by his own brothers, holding a dream that seemed to have died years earlier. His family secret was betrayal itself, a wound so deep that his own blood had sold him into slavery and told his father a lie that lasted decades. But here is what matters for you today. The secret did not stay buried. The truth came to light, not through Joseph's manipulation, not through his revenge, but through God's patient, sovereign unfolding. And when the truth finally stood in the open, when his brothers stood before him trembling, Joseph did not say, "You ruined my life." He said, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." That sentence was not naive. It was the fruit of years of hidden formation, years of choosing to trust when nothing made sense. Your family may have its own version of that betrayal, that lie, that thing nobody talks about. And like Joseph, you may be the one God has positioned to see it clearly, not so you can condemn, but so you can redeem. If you ignore what you are sensing right now, the cost will not be immediate, but it will be real. You will find yourself in the same conversation next year, having the same argument, feeling the same knot in your stomach, watching the same patterns repeat in the next generation, like a song nobody remembers writing, but everybody knows by heart. Cycles do not break themselves. They break when someone in the family line decides to stop pretending, and that decision always costs something. It costs comfort. It costs the approval of people who would rather keep the peace than make the truth. It costs the version of yourself that learned to survive by staying small and quiet and agreeable. But the cost of ignoring is higher. The cost of ignoring is watching your children inherit the same silence you inherited, watching them develop the same tight chest, the same shallow breath, the same instinct to leave the room when certain topics arise. You did not choose this assignment, chosen one, but the assignment has chosen you, and the light seeping under that door is not going to stop. This is the moment to mark what you are hearing, not as superstition, but as a simple act of confirmation between you and God. If something in your spirit is recognizing this word, if the description of that closed door and that seeping light feels like it was written from inside your own house, then type 888 in the comments as a quiet way of saying, I see it, I am here, I am not running from this. Then come right back, because what I am about to say next is the part most people never reach. The secret in your family is not just about what happened. It is about what is happening now, inside you, as you finally become willing to look at it. The external revelation is only half the story. The other half is internal, and that is where the real preparation begins. Because here is the root of it, and I want you to receive this without shame. The reason family secrets hold so much power is not just because of what they contain. It is because of what they create inside the people who carry them. Somewhere along the way, you learned that love means silence. You learned that loyalty means pretending. You learned that keeping the family together means keeping the truth apart. And that lesson went so deep into your bones that you began to confuse peace with absence of conflict and safety with absence of honesty. That is the pattern, chosen one. That is the root. And recognition alone will not be enough to break it, because a pattern that lives in your bones does not leave through understanding alone. It leaves through practice, through daily, intentional, faithful response. The 7 Principles of C.S. Lewis for the Chosen is a practical companion for exactly this kind of work, guiding you through reflection, prayer, discernment, and daily decisions so you can identify the next faithful step instead of reacting from panic or old conditioning. To access the ebook, go now to the top of the comments and click the link in the pinned comment. And as you do, know this. The pattern that was passed down to you does not have to be the pattern you pass forward. The chain can end with you, not because you are strong enough to break it, but because you are willing to let God break it through you. Your mind, your body, and your spirit are all responding to this moment differently, and learning to tell them apart is part of your preparation. Your mind is asking questions. What exactly is the secret? Who knows? Who will be hurt? What will change? Your body is carrying tension, the tight chest when the phone rings, the heavy shoulders at the family gathering, the dry throat when you almost say the true thing and swallow it instead. But your spirit, chosen one, your spirit is doing something different. Your spirit is not afraid. Your spirit is leaning forward. Your spirit has been waiting for this, has been praying prayers you did not have words for, has been groaning in that deep place where language ends and faith begins. Learn to listen to the spirit more than the mind and more than the body in this season. The mind will talk you out of it. The body will try to protect you from it. But the spirit already knows that what is coming to light is not your destruction. It is your deliverance, and the deliverance of everyone connected to you. This will affect your relationships, and you need to be ready for that without becoming suspicious of everyone around you. When light enters a dark room, not everyone celebrates. Some people have built their entire identity around the darkness, around the version of the story that keeps them comfortable, around the family myth that explains everything without requiring anything to change. When you begin to see clearly, some people will call you dramatic, some will call you disloyal, some will say you are stirring up trouble that was better left alone. They are not your enemies, chosen one. They are people who are afraid, and fear makes people protect the very thing that is hurting them. Love them anyway, but do not let their fear become your instruction. You can honor your family without honoring its dysfunction. You can love your people without adopting their blindness. Discernment is not suspicion. It is clarity wrapped in compassion. And it is one of the marks of someone who has been chosen to carry light into a place that has been dark for a very long time. The strategy working against you right now is not always loud. It does not always announce itself with crisis. More often it works through delay, through the slow erosion of your conviction, through the quiet suggestion that maybe it is not that bad, maybe you are overthinking, maybe everyone has family problems and yours are no different. It works through fatigue, keeping you just tired enough that the idea of confronting anything feels impossible. It works through lesser urgencies, filling your calendar with things that feel important but are actually just noise, crowding out the one conversation, the one prayer, the one moment of honesty that could change everything. And it works through false peace, the kind of peace that is really just numbness wearing a spiritual costume, telling you that if you do not think about it, it does not exist. But it does exist, chosen one. The secret is real. The pattern is real, and the God who is bringing it to light is more real than both. Do not let the noise convince you that the signal was never there. There is a turning point coming in your story, and it may have already begun. It is the moment when you stop negotiating with the truth. You stop saying, I will deal with it when the kids are older, or when the holidays are over, or when I feel stronger, or when the other person is ready. You stop waiting for permission from people who will never give it. You stop asking God to change the assignment and start asking Him for the courage to walk through it. This turning point is not dramatic from the outside. Nobody else may even notice it happening. It happens in the shower, in the car, in the quiet of your bedroom before sunrise, in the moment when your jaw finally unclenches and your breath finally deepens and you whisper something simple like, I am not afraid anymore, or maybe just, okay, God, okay. That whisper is the hinge on which your entire family story is about to turn. The secret is coming to light, not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped blocking the door. Now I want to give you an image, and I want you to hold it carefully, because it will carry the rest of this word. Think of a house, an old house, the kind with walls that have absorbed decades of conversation, laughter, argument, and silence. Inside this house there is a room that everyone has walked past for years without entering. The door is not locked, but nobody opens it. Behind that door, something has been sitting in the dark, something that belongs to the family, something true, something that was placed there long ago by pain or shame or fear or some combination of all three. The house is your family, the room is the secret, and the light, chosen one, the light is what God is doing right now, slowly, patiently, inevitably, like dawn filling a hallway. The light does not break the door down. It does not need to. It simply arrives and everything the darkness was hiding becomes visible, not all at once, but gradually, the way morning reveals a room that was always there. Inside that room, behind that door, something has been forming in the darkness that you did not expect. You thought the room held only pain, only the thing nobody wanted to talk about, only the wound. But God has a way of working in hidden places, of using the very darkness that was meant to destroy something to instead develop something. While the family avoided that room, while everyone walked past it and pretended it was not there, God was inside it, working. He was forming something in you, chosen one, even as you carried the weight of what you could not name. He was developing your sensitivity, your discernment, your capacity for compassion, your ability to sit with hard truths without flinching. The darkness that was meant to silence you was actually the place where your voice was being formed. The secret that was meant to shame your family was actually the soil where your courage was growing roots. You did not choose the room, but God chose what would grow inside it. What kept that door closed for so long was not one thing. It was layers. It was the grandmother who said, "We do not talk about that." It was the father who changed the subject every time the conversation drifted too close. It was the aunt who smiled too brightly and said, "Everything is fine," when everything was clearly not fine. It was the unspoken agreement, passed down like an heirloom nobody wanted, that some things are better left in the dark. And maybe, chosen one, you participated in keeping that door closed too. Maybe you learned to change the subject, to smile too brightly, to say fine when fine was a lie. That is not an accusation. It is an acknowledgement that survival strategies are inherited just as surely as eye color and last names. You did what you needed to do to survive inside a system that punished honesty. But survival is not the same as living, and the season of merely surviving inside your family's story is coming to an end. Now the door is beginning to open, not because someone kicked it in, not because you forced it, but because the light has become too strong for the darkness to contain. You can feel it happening. A conversation that used to end in silence now ends with one honest sentence. A family member who never mentioned the past suddenly says something that cracks the surface. A memory you buried years ago rises up in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday and refuses to go back down. These are not coincidences, chosen one. These are the first movements of a door that has been closed for generations, finally beginning to swing open. The hinges are rusty. The movement is slow. It will not happen in one dramatic moment. It will happen the way dawn happens, gradually, faithfully, 1 degree of light at a time, until the room that was hidden is fully visible and nothing in it can hurt you the way it used to. The light does not rush, but it does not stop either. If you can see the door opening in your own family, if you can feel the light beginning to reach into that hidden room, then type, "I see it" in the comments right now, and let those 3 words be your way of saying, "I am not closing my eyes anymore." Then come back to this word, because the opening of the door is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the return. And the return is where everything you have been carrying finally finds its purpose, not as a burden, but as a bridge between what was hidden and what is about to be healed. The return is not a performance, chosen one. You're not being asked to stand in front of your family with a speech, to confront everyone with a list of their failures, to become the prosecutor of your own bloodline. The return is quieter than that and far more powerful. The return is you, standing in the light of what you now see clearly, choosing to live differently inside the same family, the same house, the same story. It is you refusing to pass the silence to your children. It is you answering the phone without your chest tightening, because you have already made peace with what you know. It is you sitting at the table and being the one person who does not flinch when the truth walks into the room. You are not performing healing. You are embodying it, one ordinary moment at a time, and that embodiment is more powerful than any confrontation could ever be. Here is your first practice, and it is simple enough to begin today. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you speak to anyone, sit on the edge of your bed and place both feet on the floor. Take one slow breath and say this silently. I am not afraid of what the light reveals. That is all. One sentence, one breath, one moment of alignment before the day begins. This is not a magic formula. It is a morning seal, a way of setting the tone of your spirit before the world has a chance to set it for you. When the secret comes up during the day, and it will, when a family member says something that brushes against the hidden thing, you will feel your body react. Your chest will tighten, your throat will close. In that moment, return to the morning seal. Remember the breath, remember the sentence. Let it hold you steady while the light does its work. Your second practice is what I call the threshold pause. Before you enter any space where your family gathers, whether it is a kitchen, a living room, a phone call, or a holiday table, pause at the threshold. Literally stop for 3 seconds before you walk in or pick up. In those 3 seconds, remind yourself, I am entering this space as someone who sees clearly and loves anyway. You are not entering as a detective looking for evidence. You are not entering as a judge preparing a verdict. You are entering as a chosen one, someone who carries light without needing to announce it, someone who knows the truth without needing to weaponize it. This pause will change the way you walk into rooms. It will change the way you answer calls. It will change the way your family experiences you, not because you say anything different, but because you carry something different, and people can feel the difference between someone who is bracing for impact and someone who is anchored in peace. There is a mercy in the limits God places around this process, and I need you to hear this clearly. Not every door will open at once. Not every secret will be spoken in your lifetime. Not every relationship will be healed on your timeline. Some pauses are protection, some closed doors are mercy, some delays are God saying, not yet, not this way, not through your force. You are not responsible for opening every door in your family's house. You are responsible for the one door that God is opening right now, the one where the light is already coming through. Steward that door. Stand in that light. Do not run ahead of God trying to expose what He has not yet chosen to reveal, and do not lag behind Him trying to keep closed what He has already chosen to open. The rhythm of revelation is His, not yours, and there is deep peace in trusting that rhythm even when you do not understand it. The decision before you now is not whether the secret will come to light. That decision belongs to God, and it is already in motion. The decision before you is who you will be when it does. Will you be the one who says, I always knew, with bitterness in your voice? Will you be the one who says, I told you so, with vindication in your eyes? Or will you be the one who stands in the light with open hands and says, I see it, and I am still here, and I still love you, and we are going to walk through this together? That decision, chosen one, is the stewardship of your calling. It is the difference between being right and being righteous, between winning the argument and winning the family. You were not chosen to be proven right. You were chosen to be present when the truth arrives, and to be the kind of person whose presence makes the truth bearable for everyone else. If this word is settling into your spirit right now, if you can feel the truth of it in your body, in your chest, in the place behind your ribs where recognition lives, then let your like be your amen. Not a loud amen, not a performative one, but a silent one, the kind that says, I receive this, I agree with this, I am standing in this. Press the like button as your way of saying amen without words, and then come back, because there is someone you